Guess who had the hottest bants of the last shitpost? It was KDun77 and Daniel Stone. If you want to see your comment, or maybe that lovable scamp Hobo Johnson's bant featured in the next shitpost, then leave it in the comments down below. What's up, boys? It's the dark side of the internet's favorite shitlord, Oslo. And I know why you're here, and I know why I'm here. Because we got some shit to laugh at. Because on the 16th of January, during his big State of the Stream podcast... I did stream myself watching it, so if you want the VODs, the link will be in the description down below. But I wanted to double back and talk about the bankruptcy. Because this shit is too good and too interesting to pass the fuck up. So let's find out what we can learn about the bankruptcy from the piggy's mouth.
And they said this is something you absolutely have to consider and you might have to actually do, because there's nothing we can do about it. You have to do it. You make a change.
People have been telling you to make a change for years, Phil, probably since before you even moved to Washington. But Phil had to be financially inept, blow his money, do a bunch of stupid shit, and now we're sitting here on the USS bankruptcy.
You shouldn't be embarrassed when in life you're defeated in a certain way.
You should be embarrassed, Phil. This is pretty fucking embarrassing. Making all sorts of money being an internet gamer lolcow extravaganza. And you never thought once of saving that money? Letting it work for you? Letting your wealth grow? But you didn't. And now you're sitting here acting like the biggest L handed to you is a W when it's not. This is pretty fucking embarrassing, Phil. This is just as embarrassing as...
What is up, everyone? Hello, and welcome. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know. Hello. And you have to make some kind of a change in order to fix it.
Well, thank fucking Christ, I'm so happy that the 37-year-old man figured out that if you want to make a change, you gotta do something about it.
Because, this is a big loss for me, a big fail for me that I have to do something now that I don't want to do. I never wanted to do in my life, but I have to.
And all this, Phil, could have been avoided if you didn't fill your Wakanda up with toys and statues and worthless gamer crap, then move across the country, then take a horse and move that bitch across the country, while living in an overpriced dollhouse. If Dave kept shit small, this shitpost wouldn't exist.
So, during that whole summer and early fall...
So around the same time you milked $2,000 out of your audience to let them know you had a fucking cat.
Yeah, here we go. Perfect. This is Jasper, ladies and gentlemen. Jasper the cat.
Hoes mad, 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 hoes mad.
Okay, we're on the same page. Continue.
I started looking into options and considering various things. I talked to various people, and there were a couple different options that I could have taken. But basically, eventually, I sat down and I saw a lawyer and talked to the lawyer, and the lawyer said, with your situation, there's really no way out besides declaring bankruptcy. Like, there's no way. How are you going to get out of not only owing all this debt that you have behind the scenes through credit cards and loans, but now you've got a home that you can't pay for and they're going to foreclose on you. Chances are they're going to sue you for the money that you owe. And he's like, looking at your income is inconsistent but good.
Inconsistent but good. That's a nice way to spin I beg, and sometimes I get more money begging than other times.
Like, my income's always been good. The problem is the debts are getting worse.
Well, of fucking course, big-brained Burnell, the debts aren't getting better because you're not paying the fucking debts.
Because these are all revolving debts. These are credit card debts that are getting bigger and bigger every year because I can't pay them down. It's just getting worse and worse every moment.
It's getting worse and worse every moment because you're not paying off those debts. You're not putting small dents in those debts to eventually they will get smaller and smaller. You're refusing to pay them so they're not going away. I don't know why I had to explain this to you, Phil. You fucking idiot.
So, basically, what ended up happening was I saw a bankruptcy lawyer and we went through a lot of information.
Well, yeah, Phil, it's meeting with your fucking bankruptcy lawyer. Your first meeting with your bankruptcy lawyer is going to be a bit of a process. It's going to be more than a handshake and swapping cards.
a lot, it's been a very arduous process, to say the least, okay? Going through so much different stuff. And it's hilarious. It really is.
Phil, you're about to be double penetrated financially. How is any of this fucking funny to you? This is funny to the rest of us because it's not happening to us. It's happening to you. You should probably take the situation you are given and handle it with the utmost seriousness and care. Because you are no longer playing a video game, Phil. This is real life. This is your finances. If you fuck up, you can't reload the last save.
During my initial meetings with this bankruptcy lawyer, okay, I basically explained the whole situation of how I got into the situation I'm in.
By having way too many credit cards and debts and also being addicted to buying stupid gamer shit.
Like, how did you have this amount of income those years and all of a sudden your income went down because of this? And I explained because trolls and all this.
Oh no, Phil, don't tell me you're gonna sit here in front of this bankruptcy lawyer and say the trolls put you in this situation. That you're in so much debt and you owe so much money because people on the internet made fun of you.
Huh? So I explained, I'm an internet personality. I have people who harass me on a daily basis and totally make shit up.
Alright, here's the part of the shitpost where I go into my wallet and I pull out my X'd out. Because I don't believe for one goddamn second any lawyer worth his spit is gonna believe that other people made fun of him on the internet, that's why he's in financial ruin. The trolls didn't make his financial decisions for him. Phil made those financial decisions. Because the whole internet trolls ruined my life mentality doesn't work in the real world. Just makes you look like a thin-skinned little bitch.
And all of that, and they're like, wow, I can't imagine. Now this is, a lawyer who has no exposure to the whole internet lifestyle of when you're an internet personality, a complete outsider.
And if that lawyer was smart, he would look at what the trolls are saying, what the detractors are saying, and realize that none of it has to do with Phil Burnell's fucking finances.
And just matter-of-factly explaining the facts of the situation of what's going on with me in my daily life. This person is like speechless, flabbergasted. This is what you go through every day? I'm like, yeah.
Nobody told him to get all the credit cards. Nobody told him to buy all the statues. No one told him to buy the BMW. Nobody told him to move across the fucking country to a dollhouse he can't fucking afford anymore. All that was done by Phil. His choices. Make the bed, lie in it. Take the ticket, ride the ride, Phil. Now, who's gonna sit here, Phil, and believe that your bankruptcy lawyer feels sorry for you because you get trolled on the internet? Maybe Vinny might, but the rest of us aren't buying that shit. If anything, your attorney probably thinks you're crazy, ranting and raving about shit that doesn't even fucking matter to your goddamn finances.
Like every fucking day of my life, this is what I go through. My wife...
What about your wife, Phil?
Gets attacked on a daily basis, has nothing to do with any of this, okay?
How do you attack somebody who isn't allowed to have social media and isn't allowed to leave the house unless it's for work? More proof that Phil used his wife as a prop. Just another thing to point at and be like, look how bad the trolls are. Because that's what true love is. Using your spouse like a weird prop to get internet sympathy points.
It's pretty fucked up. It's pretty messed up. It's pretty fucked up. All this information and all the stuff that happens to me.
He's so fucking vague that he can't even keep it straight. When a push comes to shove, the people asking for money or answers aren't gonna want your vague bullshit.
So anyway, I fully explained to the bankruptcy lawyer up front, chances are anything that could be public on the internet is gonna go public, okay? And so I had discussions with the bankruptcy lawyer about how to go about this, how to discuss it, what to publicly reveal, what to not publicly reveal, okay?
Well, it's all going to come out one way or another. Either public information, somebody slips, or if Hacker Man shows up.
They responded in this manner. It sounds to me like no matter what, these people who are after you are so crazy fucking obsessed. Not to say fucking, but they're so crazy obsessed with you. They're going to find everything out anyway. Even though they shouldn't have access to the information that it sounds like they get about you, they're going to end up finding it.
Did you explain to them how the trolls got this information, Phil? Like how you were stupid and gave a bunch of house tours and your address got out? Because like always, you were fucking careless. You don't want to be lying or being shady towards your lawyer, Phil. Because their job is to represent you, and if you do something shady or screw them over or lie to them, it's going to make their job 10 times more harder.
these idiots
None of these idiots are filing for bankruptcy, so
sound like they will find it because they constantly will go after your information. And if there's someone who literally has no life and just sits there and looks at public filings every day for the name Phil Burnell, they're going to eventually find it.
bitch, they probably got shit like Google Alerts set up, so whenever your name comes up in a document or online, people get like a little ding.
Guess what happened in December, guys? It was like clockwork. It was literally like clockwork.
Phil, you are a notorious internet scammer lolcow. People are gonna keep tabs on every little fucking thing you do to make sure that you're not scamming more fucking people. So when we catch wind that your Wakanda is getting foreclosed upon, of course the dark side of the internet is gonna collectively laugh at it. Fuck, people from outside of the dark side of the internet are fucking laughing at you about your foreclosure and your bankruptcy. Because you failed, Phil. You're a failure.
Absolutely like clockwork, where as soon as the bank formally filed for the foreclosure on me for this property in Connecticut, immediately the trolls find it and post it all over the internet, right? It was like the day of. It wasn't even like a delay. So these idiots literally sit there refresh to find this information about me. It's insane.
You know what's more insane? Making good money playing video games on the internet, all for it to get pissed away through bankruptcy, because you have the spending habits of a 17-year-old.
We didn't know exactly when the mortgage company was going to foreclose on me. We were waiting. We actually wanted them to do it as soon as possible, because as soon as they foreclose, immediately once they take ownership of the property, I don't owe that condo association in Connecticut any money anymore. I can stop paying them. And in fact, if a foreclosure is going on when a bankruptcy proceeding happens, the bankruptcy proceeding can hold up the foreclosure proceeding significantly. All right? Very significantly.
I'm no expert, never claimed to be, but I don't think playing legal screwball is the best idea, Phil. Because if you get caught, nobody's going to be happy with you, Phil.
Yeah, okay? So for 3 months, guys, behind the scenes, I've been working with a bankruptcy attorney to basically file for bankruptcy, so that primarily the real reason I had to do it is because I'm probably going to get sued or by this mortgage company when they foreclose on this property, which they're doing right now, and they take it away out of my name and they sell it. There's no way they're going to make the $100,000 on the sale that they would make that they need to pay off the mortgage. They're going to probably make 50, 60 grand, and they're going to say I owe them some crazy amount of money, like $40,000, $50,000, that I have no way to pay them. I'm already so bad and behind on debt, I can't fucking make my regular monthly payments on anything. How the hell am I going to afford to pay that, right? So, primarily, the bankruptcy that I'm doing is to protect myself from being sued and losing my house, okay? But in addition to that, I have an exorbitant amount of debt in my name from all the stuff from the move out here and everything. And again, for years, trying to juggle all that debt and make it work, it never worked because the trolls would never leave me alone.
It never fucking worked because you never made a real plan for yourself, Phil. You got out to Washington and just kept doing the shit you were doing. And while you were doing the same old shit, that debt in the background got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now you're staring down foreclosure and bankruptcy. How is that our fault?
They always found a way to consistently fuck with my income over and over the years.
How, Phil? How did the trolls fuck with your income? Did they make videos that people actually wanted to watch? Streams people actually wanted to go to? Because there's nothing wrong with that, Phil. That's just competition.
And I never got level again. And then when I thought I would get level, oh, your tax attorney fucked you over in Connecticut. Now you owe thousands of dollars to the state of Washington.
Also, you can't be shifting the blame and pointing fingers, Phil. These are your finances. This is your bankruptcy case. Nobody's gonna care or take you seriously that some mysterious tax guy and a bunch of internet trolls ruined your finances.
Then, because of that, now I'm behind on my federal taxes. It was just a never-ending wave after wave after wave of stuff that fucked me over financially. I could never get back to being square. So, because of all of that, okay? Because of all of that, all right? Bankruptcy is like the only solution, okay? So, I've been working essentially since the late summer of 2019, but really I didn't start serious talks until the fall.
So you just dicked around for 3 months? Way to take this shit seriously, Phil.
On bankruptcy, so that I can not get completely monstrously destroyed and lose my home and all of that stuff, okay?
But with your lack of initiative over the last 5 years with this giant debt and all these other financial issues, that just might be the only solution, Phil, to get fucked over monstrously.
The good news here is...
Hold on a goddamn second. There's good news? How the fuck is there good news, Phil? You're filing for bankruptcy. That's the opposite of good news.
From what the bankruptcy attorney has told me, you know, if I qualify for the bankruptcy, which apparently I very much do, like once looking at all the facts, it's like, holy shit, yes, you qualify for this. I'm gonna keep my house, okay?
I'm gonna say if you play your cards right, Phil, you can keep your dollhouse. Do I think you will, though? Absolutely goddamn not. If you want to think you're gonna keep the house, if that makes you feel better, if that helps you sleep at night, you go for it, bud.
And basically, the mortgage, whatever's gonna happen with that place in Connecticut happens, and I'm not responsible for it anymore. It gets out of my name, and that's the end of that, and I won't be able to get sued for whatever the deficit is or whatever. I'll be completely exonerated from that.
So the good news is that you get to weasel your way out of something that you should be responsible for.
It's looking like one of two options is going to happen. It's not clear what's going to happen yet. Either all of my existing unsecured debt is going to get wiped out and go to zero, but my credit will be utterly destroyed for a decade. Meaning I will never be able to get a loan. I will never have a credit card, nothing, no credit whatsoever for a decade. Essentially, it's getting destroyed. And then in a decade, I start at ground zero, like starting over.
The only way that option's going to work for you, Phil, is if you make a lot of cutbacks and sacrifices. You can't live the bullshit lifestyle you live without those financial safety nets.
Or they're going to put me on what's considered a payment plan. Meaning they're going to say, okay, you owe this amount of money, and we're going to put you on a plan that you pay a certain amount of money for the rest of your life, essentially, until it's paid off. But this money is based on how much money you make and how much money you owe in taxes and stuff. So basically what they would do is say, okay, you make this much money, you pay your utilities, you pay, you know, this, that, all that. Then you pay your taxes. After you've paid all the essentials that are important, then we figure out what you have left, and that's what we figure out would be going to the debts that you owe, okay?
That also wouldn't be good. It'd leave Phil with basically nothing. He'd have to beg 4 times as hard.
Now, it's not 100% sure at all what's going to happen here. At all. It could go one way, it could go the other. I don't know which one would be better. Either way, it screws me over.
And that's the scary thing, Dark. You're financially retarded. You constantly need 4 or 5 safety nets.
And essentially what this does, okay, is it puts me at a position where I have absolutely nothing to fall back on. So for example, let's say this bankruptcy goes through, which it looks like it's going to, I get really sick.
Like if the gout starts spreading to the rest of his body.
Right? For some reason, I get really sick and I have to go to the doctor, and I go to the doctor, I end up in the hospital or needing treatments or whatever.
Then you better become like a super hermit, bud. Don't go outside. You might get the woo flu. Don't have Cat make you some authentic Chinese bat soup.
And I get insane medical bills. I can't get a loan. There's no credit card. There's no way I can pay for it. And I'm fucked. Okay? Or... you know, anything, basically anything comes up. Something blows up in my house, and now I need to afford an appliance or something. I don't have money for it.
You better take care of your shit then, bud. Do a little maintenance once every few weeks. Crack open the user manual.
Right? Like, that's pretty much what it comes down to, is that I'm now seriously at the point where, because I have to do this, that's going to be my life for the next 10 years, you know?
And it's the choices that you made along your life to give you the life that you currently have, which is one that is completely fucked.
And it's funny because idiots, okay?
Idiots who are not filing for bankruptcy
will spin stuff, okay?
How the fuck are the trolls gonna spin this, Phil? Everything in this narrative is your fault. You spent the money poorly. You didn't save the money. You didn't pay your debts accordingly. This is all on you, bud.
Idiots will spin stuff that... in regards to, you know, what's going on with this, they'll say, well, if Phil declares bankruptcy, that means he doesn't owe anything to anyone. So, see, Phil won't need any more contributions on streams, and Phil won't need any support from his fans any longer. If he says that he needs help, he's lying to you.
I haven't heard anybody say that, Phil, but whatever you want to say.
That is 100% ignorance about how bankruptcy works. It's actually completely the opposite situation.
That's right, boys. Because of the bankruptcy, Phil's gonna need to beg 10 times more harder. He's gonna have to work the bankruptcy into his pre-stream spiel Like how 10 years ago he lost his job at the helicopter company, and then he's gonna end it with, I really need your contributions, guys, because in 2020 I filed for bankruptcy.
The truth of the matter is that chances are, if this does go through, I'm gonna lose a lot of the stuff in the house that I don't need. For example, you know all those statues and shit that I've got in the storage nook? I give all that up. I say, this might be worth something if you sell it. I don't need it. It's not something I actively use. You know, it's not an appliance that I need to live.
If you really don't care about these statues, then why don't you try to sell more of them? Like, I know you sold the portal gun and a couple others, but you could have really put in a good old college try, Phil. Sold a bunch of these statues on like an auction stream and make a good chunk of money doing it.
Here's a bunch of shit that I don't need. Take it. You know, take all this junk that's been sitting around that I haven't been able to sell for years. Please, by all means. And the thing is, there's not much in my house that they could do. Most of the stuff that's valuable is in this office for the business. That's protected under bankruptcy filing. It's really only the things that are considered superfluous in the collections, jewelry, that kind of shit that they can actually take in a bankruptcy filing, that kind of stuff. So they're basically, you know, outline the stuff that's in the house, give them a list of everything here, and they're going to take and sell, you know, stuff that they can. So yeah, stuff in my house is going to end up probably getting sold off. More than likely, the shit over there in the storage nook that I don't want and don't need is going to get sold. And more than likely, other stuff, I don't know what. I don't know to what extent they're going to take. You know, they're not going to take stuff like your bed. You know what I mean? And they're not going to take your basic appliances, but they're going to probably take certain things. And that's how it is.
They could take just about anything. They could take Cat's PS4. They can take your video game collection, that sealed copy of The Lion King, any art with appraised value, perhaps. Point is, they're gonna go through your shit with a fine-tooth comb, and I don't think you're gonna like what they report.
But it's going through now. It's a process that takes a few months. Chances are it probably won't be official until, you know, like the spring.
All right, we got some shit to look forward to. Very exciting.
Here's what I need to worry about stuff. I need to worry about paying the utilities, paying the, you know, taxes.
Of course, the all-magical, never-ending taxes. Guess Mommy Brunel didn't bail him out of all of his taxes. Feels bad, man.
All my other ongoing obligations, like, for example, my car loan doesn't get wiped. I'm keeping my car, so my car loan I have to keep paying, stuff like that. Obviously, the mortgage on this house I have to keep paying properly. The cost of everything for the business, so the cost of internet, games, and all that I have to keep paying.
Get the pay piggies to buy the games, or better yet, use Game Pass. There's a lot of bomb-ass games on there. Play more NES and SNES classics on the Switch. You've been doing that here and there, but play more. Point I'm trying to make, your diehard pay piggy audience isn't going to be hung up if you're not playing the latest releases. And
then on top of that, find a way to pay the taxes properly, because I'm so behind on taxes. That has to be like my main focus, is once all the other debts are wiped out, the condo in Connecticut's wiped out, the credit cards, the loans, all of those are gone, and my credit's completely ruined, which it will be for about 10 years. All right.
So what, Dark? Is that going to be another 10 more years of begging? Are we going to have a 20-year plus begacy on our hands by the end of it? God, I hope not.
Then I would have to catch up on these taxes.
It feels like the only constant in DSP's life is being a loser in taxes. Kind of makes me feel sorry for him a little bit, but he got himself in this situation, so no.
I'm not going to talk about this too frequently past today's podcast, because I don't see the point to doing it, talking about that frequently at all.
As you really shouldn't talk about it, Phil. The only reason why I can see you talking about it is unless you bring it up during a pre-stream or you get baited by a troll, which I can totally see happening in the coming months.
If this works out the way that the bankruptcy attorney is explaining to me, all right, by the middle to late 2020, I should be able to get back on track, hopefully start getting caught up with the taxes, and then instead of it always being, oh my God, now I'm overdrawn or this and that, everything's okay in that regard, and, you know, maybe even start turning stuff around in a positive way, you know.
So if this all works out, meaning that you need to play your cards exactly correctly, and then wait out the next 5 to 7 years, then things start turning around, Phil? This is just me saying this. I don't think that's going to work out. I can see you totally bungling this up. And those were all the clips from the State of the Stream podcast. Jump ahead to the 31st of January. During his Donkey Kong 64 stream, the bankruptcy papers drop. And it's not looking good for Phil. The big number is $494,216.28. God damn, Dark, you're good at one thing, owing a fuck ton of money. Here's a little neato pie chart with all the debts, including a fuck ton of credit cards. God damn, Dave. There's like 12 fucking credit cards here, bud.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run. The night goes on as I'm fading away. I'm sick of this life, I just wanna scream. How could this happen to me?
But we're all the fucking idiots here. We're the morons. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, Phil says he doesn't have a business. Then what the fucking fuck is Burnell Productions? Is that like your weird Seattle-based indie film studio? Are you trying to get a live-action Babe Pig in the City starring yourself off the ground, Dave? Also, for not having a business, you sure do have a lot of business expenses. I don't know what the fuck went down in July, but almost 10 grand? Yikes. Also, through these papers, we have confirmation that Kat works at a Kroger's or Fred Meyer's, working at a grocery store for some capacity. Not really bringing much to the table, but I don't want to bring it up because of the number. Boys, I officially have to, drop the whole Phil's wife is a crack whore bit. It's very hard for me to do, but it's the right thing to do. So let us say goodbye to the most forced joke on this channel.
And I'll take with me the memories to be my sunshine after rain. And it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Alright boys, let's move on forward with our heads held high. Let's go back to laughing at Phil. Like how he put all this shit down, but not his PayPal account. Oh no! So yeah boys, we went from Project 7 to Chapter 7. What do I think's gonna happen now? I'm not an expert, but I reckon an audit's probably gonna be in order. Like a real one, where a guy's gonna come through with a fine-tooth comb and look through all Phil's shit, number it up, and see what they can do. And I only see this working out if Phil plays all of his cards right, and if he plays ball, i.e. not being himself a giant dick. So really, I don't see this going well for him. But there's tons of more information in the Kiwi Farms thread, I'll leave that down below. I just want to pick through the things that I found most interesting and worth laughing at.
The next day.
There's no way I could stream today. I feel terrible. Sorry, all.
So Phil's gonna call in sick and the King of Hate forums went down for that day. Really makes you think.
Slept in, but still feeling like crap. My throat is totally shot. So hopefully a day of little to no speaking will do wonders.
Yeah, I wonder why he wants to keep silent the day after his bankruptcy papers dropped.
I'll give you an update later today on how things are looking at the upcoming schedule, which is now obviously going to change. Thanks all for understanding.
The only thing I'm understanding is that you're a scared little bitch, Phil. You realize you can't dodge the auditors and the courts like you're dodging your audience, Phil? It's not gonna look good, bud. None of this looks good for you, and I can't wait to be here to laugh at it. And I can't wait for you boys to be there with me. Thank you for watching another one of my weird-ass shit posts. If you want to cyberbully me on Twitter, you totally can do that. It's at BasedOslo. Thank you again so much for watching. Be safe and make good choices out there.